Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jill, FiberFloozieCrafts. I'm so glad you came in and clicked on this video. I don't make a whole lot of videos anymore, but I thought today I would get the people who don't normally get to see everything on the lives. Maybe you popped in the live at a different time frame than when I was showing something, or you just weren't able to make it on that day. I have changed my live schedule to 4 o'clock Central on the days that I'm able to do them. And that's mostly what I do, is the lives. However, recently I have decided, there might be a few people that just can't do that. And so for those of you that can't, I thought I would do somewhat of a catch up. Now, I'm hoping to put these out about once a month. That's what I'm hoping to do. But I don't know that that will work out. We'll just have to wait and see. Also, because shipping is very, very expensive, unless I have something special, a special event that I'm going to be doing, my giveaways are now going to be put on my monthly video. So what I will try to do is do the monthly video and put up the giveaway, and then if I have anything other that is like special for anything I'm doing, then that'll be specified somewhere else. So now, will I get to doing a giveaway every single month? Probably. I think that's something I can handle doing once a month. Absolutely. So there will be one here, so if you'll stay tuned till the end, I will let you know what that is. And I have it sitting next to me. Well, it's part of it anyway. Okay. One thing that you did miss, if you did not make the live the other day, I can show you. I got a Happy Mail. I ordered something, and I made the decision that I'm not going to keep getting the Sock Yarn Society Club, because until I use more of my hand-dyed yarn, which is, it takes longer to use than regular store-bought or ordered, or wherever I get all of the acrylic and blends that I use. The hand-dyed tends to take a lot longer to get through. And I have so much of it at the moment that I'm running out of places to put it, because I keep the hand-dyed yarns kind of separate from everything except on my wall. Like, see these two right here? These are hand-dyed yarns, and they're all fingering weight. There's a few sport weights, there's a few lace weights, but that's what's here. And then behind me is kits, and then this one and this one are DK. And then everything else is worsted, and then on the very, very end back over there is cotton. Well, those two are full. And I have 4 more cubbies full with fingering. And then I have fingering weight yarn in totes. The worsted weight and the DK weight, I have only 2 cubbies over there. And there's a few of the DK weight and worsted weight hand-dyed yarns interspersed in these also. I tend to use the stuff that's on these walls first, just because it's out and I can see it. And that was one of the greatest things about putting all of these together, was being able to see what I had. Oh, that was Serbs. Serbs gave you a little nudge. Now, I tend not to look at the camera directly when I'm on my phone, so just forgive the eye wandering. But I in my last kit from Arkansas Yarn Co. Sock Yarn Society, I got a coupon code for a discount, and there was a really nice set that I saw, and it was another Sock Yarn Society Club kit from 2023, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just use my coupon and get an extra, because I really like this one. And it came with a pattern. I do not know if it is a paid for pattern, but it's the Queen Bee Beanie. And yes, I realize that everything is backwards. I'm not messing with that right now. Here is what the beanie looks like. It looks fairly easy to do, and I think I can do that. It is knit. And here is the yarn. And the one I got was Only Sweetly Creepy Yummy Sparkle. 75% superwash, 15% nylon, and 10% stellina. 437 yards, and isn't that pretty? Isn't that gorgeous? That's another thing too, when you're doing a live, sometimes the colors don't look as good as they do when you do a video. And I tend to lose where I'm at on a live. Like, I'm going to show you something, I tend to forget what I was going to say, and I get all caught up in the chat. And Arkansas Yarn Co. Only Sweetly Creepy. Very pretty. And then to pair with it, they put in a pom-pom. And this is one of the larger ones. It has the band on it, but it's one of the larger pom-poms. And then they gave you a little button to sew on the inside, and it's got Arkansas Yarn Co. on it. So that was fun too. It's wood. And then the Sock Yarn Society always comes with a tee, and they're from Plum Deluxe. Doesn't say it on here. But this one is the Pumpkin Spice Black Tea. This sock kit was from October of 2023, so this would have been a fall flavor. Honey bush tea, black tea, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, clove, calendula, safflower, and natural pumpkin flavor. And then we always get, oh, and then when you finish your hat, they gave you a handmade tag that you fold around the brim. And then Lori is the owner of Arkansas Yarn Co. And she always includes stitch markers, and these are lever backs. And one stitch marker will be from the theme, and the other one will be themed, but it's in Arkansas, the state of Arkansas. So here's the two for that. Look at the little pumpkin. Isn't that adorable? So this was a really fun one. I'm not disappointed that I got it at all. Very happy with it. And it's always fun when you get a pattern too, because this is going to be a pattern. Now this pattern is by Cheryl Ham of Hypnotic Yarn. So if you are wanting to see about getting the pattern, you can go to Ravelry and get it, I am sure. All right. The other thing I told everybody, now there is going to be some new stuff for those of you who have watched my lives, which I have some of you that watch everything that I put out, and you don't know how much that means to me, that you want to spend that much time with me. I really appreciate that, because that means a lot, you know. I turned this into a yarn holder, and this will work for larger skeins of yarn because it has a much wider opening, and I just folded it down. This is that, if you don't know, this, I was making this for the Advent, and all I did was stitch it together here, and we were going to have it be a hat, and I was going to put palms on it, but it's a little too tight, and I really don't want, this isn't something I would put in with a donation because someone would not know how to take care of this. So I'm just going to keep it and use it as a ball sack. So now it's ball sack. Okay. Just looking at all the things down in there. Take a breath. I do have some coffee. Yes, I have coffee. Oh, hold on. I got to take my turmeric. Back in my Texas cup, my Texas chip. If you know, you know. And yes, I'm doing it black with honey or monk fruit. Part of my new, I can talk about that later on, but that's part of my new plan. It's trying to eliminate most of the dairy. And I'm going to show you, talking about my turmeric, I'm going to go and I'll show you my little setup in the kitchen. So I've been trying to keep track of how much water I drink as well. And I'll show you that. So this is where I'm keeping track of my water. And I'll show you the other side. I've got some of the kids' pictures here. I got to be careful. So this was last week when I started. I started on Thursday, but this was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I just write the number instead of making the hashtags. I write 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup, 4 cup, etc. Down here, this is my turmeric. I have to take this when I eat a meal. So I wrote it down there. And now I've got something new that I'm doing. So this is for this week. All right, let me put these magnets on. But this is turmeric and this is my greens. This is the greens. It's bloom. You can get these at Target, you can get these at Walmart. Anyway, this is the one that, and Mr. Fiber and I are both taking it, so I keep it right here next to the water so that it's out where he can remember. So obviously this is going to be vlog style. So we'll some of the time we'll be sitting here and some of the time we'll be walking around. This I just showed this and I have not done any more. I showed this to everybody, but I hadn't done any more. This is a dishy in a teal color, and I'm using a 7, just a 4.5, just a 4.5 millimeter. I normally use a 5 millimeter for the washcloths when I crochet them, but this was not looking right that open. It's a more of an open stitch, and it wasn't looking right in it with the H. So I went with the 4.5, the 7. It's a 7, 4.5. And this is from the book of Dishcloths by Leisure Arts. Lots of fun stitches in here, and I'm on number 7. As part of my journey, I'm on number 7. So still doing dishcloths. I'm enjoying the dishcloths. They're a nice way to sit and think about my projects. Does anybody else do that with a dishcloth? When I'm sitting and working on a dishcloth, because it's almost like a palette cleanser, it's almost like a pause to kind of reflect on my projects and what's going on in the she shed, and just, you know, I don't know, it's like a little break from other things. Okay. I did pick the next amigurumi that I'm making, but I have not started it yet, so I will talk to y'all about that whenever I finish it. I did finish, okay. I talked about this the other day, and it was that I need to clear my brain. So in order to clear my brain and free me up from doing some of the things that I really want to do, that I've been putting off, feel like I'm making progress and I'm not just pushing uphill, that, and give me more joy. Because ultimately that is why we do what we do. It is therapy. It gives us joy. It helps us to do life, right? It helps us to do life. So I needed to finish some stuff up. And I decided I wasn't going to do any more squares for the fingering weight granny square, and I'm going to make a wrap. Haven't done it yet. Haven't got that one finished yet, but that's my next one to finish up. But I do still have this little bag of minis and things, and I'm kind of thinking that with them I want to do one of the blankets that Russ from It's Raining Yarn does. Okay, so do a granny square and then do the two double crochet shell is what he does. He doesn't do a full shell, but I need to work out how to start that. And with that, I'll be using a Tulip 4.0. So I'm going to work on that, but I wanted to get some of the other things done first, but that's another way to use some of that fingering weight yarn. So that's in there. I did get a little bit farther, not since my live the other day, but I'm still working on, for those who haven't seen it, this is the Virus Meets Granny by Fiber Spider. I'm working his tutorial. This is where I'm at with this one. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter. Is that an eye? Now the only ball band I have for this is for the yellowy color. This is called Rose Linen, and but both of them are this yarn. It's a DK weight. It's the Premier Nordica. And see, this is that Rose Linen one. And then the other one, it was like a sage or something like that. And that's that one. Don't have as much of this, so I'm trying to kind of intersperse it in the sections. We'll see. And I'm going to make that as much of it as I can with the yarn that I have. This is a knotty knitting sack. For those of you that didn't notice it, that it was knotty, it's a knotty knitting sack. Where's the tag? Hi, Katie. Okay. Now I'm going to take you for another walk here in a minute, because I am making turntable covers for Mr. Fiber. And this is how far I am on it. It's fairly long. I'll fold it in half. See, so that it'll hang down on both sides of the turntable, and I'm almost halfway as far as across in the width. And the yarns I'm using for that are yarns that Mr. Fiber picked out. This is my dots, 5.5 dots. This bag is by Heather Yellen of Castaway Cove Decor. It came with, I think Mary gave me this bag, and it came with some stitch markers. These are more like progress keepers. See, because they hang on your project. And here is the bag. It's a naughty bag also. It's not a naughty knitting sack, but it is also naughty. You know I love the color of it. So one of the yarns I'm using is the Bambootiful. This one is the linen. No, this one is the mist. I'm using mist, and I'm holding it together with the other yarn. And this one is Brown Sheep Yarn Co. Cotton, and it's a 1. It's more like a 2, but it's supposed to be a 1, and I'm holding them double. So I'm holding that double. Now, I know I'm going to run out of this one, and I've already told him that, and he said he didn't care. No big deal. So when I run out of that mist color, I'm going to go to this one, which is called Linen Bambootiful. And that cotton is called Cotton Fine by the Brown Sheep Yarn. Okay, now I'm gonna go show you his music room and his 45 table, and you'll see his, and I'm gonna do one for mine, and mine is much bigger, but I will show you what his turntables and stuff look like. So enjoy this little tour. There's a few of you who have been asking about Mr. Fiber's music room, so I wanted to give you a little quick run around in the music room and show you what his collection looks like, because if you think my yarn collection is really something, you haven't seen his records. It's gonna help. Serb's just gonna help. Now, I'm not going to really talk about a whole lot of stuff because, to be honest with you, I wouldn't know what I was talking about anyway. This is where he sits. He logs his records in on Discogs. It's got some different equipment. Try not to do that too fast. I do apologize if I did. Serves down there. You can also watch TV in here. Yep, quite a collection. This table is his 45s table. And this is in the back of the house. And then he also has a turntable here. And you see how dusty everything gets. So that's why I'm making the cover for him. Oh, okay. A finish. I finished our Stitch and Crime blanket mal. Put the finishing touches on here. I'll lay this out and put a picture in here for you. Wait, maybe I can do it here. Hold on. See, it really is mostly a lap blanket size now. Here's what it looks like. Let me show you when I'm sitting here. So when I'm sitting in my chair with my feet out, if I'm sitting down, it comes to right here. So it really is a lap blanket, you know, because it's covering my feet on the floor. If I had my feet up, it would be covering my feet. Let me point you down so you can see. Hold on. See, it really is a lap blanket. This was a lot of fun to make with all these different stitches. We had a good time talking, hanging out. We did this on a Stitch and Crime Friday night. And I really like how it turned out. And I want to go ahead and get it washed, and then we'll see what happens with it as far as how it reacts to washing, because so many different fibers in here. Like this one I know is wool, this one is noro, so it may shrink some. So I don't really know right now that I'm going to donate this one, depending on how it reacts to the washing. So we'll see what happens with that, because I would really hate to donate it and then it not be able to be used. If something kind of shrinks up on it, is no big deal, you know, and it doesn't get totally misshapen, then that's okay. But if something happens, I'd rather just keep it here and not donate it. So just really just kind of depends on how things work out in the wash. So that one is done. And also I finished the other blanket. So the other blanket was the blanket that I made with the fingering weight yarns, and I'm going to show you what I have left over here in a minute. But for now, let me take you back in, and I'm going to take you to my bathroom now, and I'm going to show you where I put that finish. See, it's a little bit smaller towards the front, but it worked out really nicely. And here's how I did. I just stitched it together on 3 sides and then just turned it inside out. Yeah. And here's the basket. Here's the basket of stuff. I'll show all this to y'all, or I already have. Sound like a good idea, bud? Does that sound good? Okay. We're just going all over the house today. Vlog style. I know. Sorry. I had to move the camera. Okay. Now, the giveaway. And I hope you'll stay after I tell you about this, because I have one more area to show you before you go. But since I was talking about the blanket, that blanket was made and it was based on the Attic 24 granny stripe blanket pattern, and you can find that on her blog. And I've been working on it for years. I mean, I have had that project going for like at least 2 years or maybe longer. I'm not quite positive when I started it. Here's what I have left. Now, let me tell you what they are. We have 2 different kinds of wool-like. It's called wool-like from Yarn Bee. It's a lace weight, so I asked Mr. Fiber to put it together. And he caked it for me together. And I have that color and that color. If I have the labels for any of this stuff, then I will include it in the giveaway. But you're going to be getting these 2. And then I have several of the Croy sock and other name brand sock types of yarn that were held in there. This one, with what I have left of it. I think this one was a hand-dyed yarn. I'm not positive, but I think it was. That's what I have left of that one. These I know are Croy sock, and I want to say that when I started, I had 2 of each on these. Like, these are like 2 tied together. This one has its tag on the side. See, that's 1. This one is a hand-dyed yarn. These 2 are both hand-dyed yarns. This one is a Koigu. It's the last one left of that. This may be Koigu, but like I said, I don't know on that which one it is. But other than that one label, I have all of the labels that I used right here. So I will go through and take out the ones that go with these. So you will get all of that, and that's what's left over from making that blanket. Now, what I did with that blanket, it was starting to be shorter. I somehow did not go all the way to the ends on both sides. So instead of it going straight up, it started to come inward, and I was just not about to take all that out. I just wasn't going to do it. It was too much work, and I needed to decide what to do. So we went around the house, and I told Mr. Fiber I could put it on the table, and he said, no, I would be okay with the tablecloth made like this. He said, but it would need to come all the way out on both ends and both sides to be a full tablecloth. I said, okay. So we didn't put it across the table as like a table runner. I tried to put it in my hallway here coming into the she shed, but it was too wide in one area, and it would have just been a trip hazard more than anything else. And I don't want that for me or for Serbs if he caught his feet on it, you know? So then I said, well, I can put it in the bathroom. And so that's what I did. I just closed it up on two sides, just folded it in half, closed it on 2 sides, turned it inside out, and then closed the other end. And when I got out of the shower last night and I stepped on that, it was very luxurious. I'm telling you, that was a really, really nice thing to stand on. Works wonderful, and it doesn't move on the carpet, which was another problem we were having in there because I had some other little rugs. Well, they kept moving around. So you're going to get that yarn, and then When I finished that other blanket, which was the mini, now if I have a picture, I'll try to put it in here. Because I do think I do. This is what I have left from that. It is the Mainstay Sparkle. It's nearly a full ball of that in Sweet Violet. What I have left, it's a floppy, but this is a mostly full ball. Red Heart Bright Yellow Super Saver. Mostly full Super Saver Pale Yellow, I think. Pale Yellow. Baby Pink, mostly full. And then this is the one I use the most of, but it is probably more than halfway full. And this is a Mainstay Pink. So you will get all of those, and plus there will be some other things too. And I will make a bag up, and then here's what I need to know. Before you win this, the word you're gonna put as a comment will be wool. That's the word that I will use, so it has to be in there. But if you can't have wool, put no wool. All right? So if you win, I will check your comment and I will make sure you didn't say no wool. But the word is wool. So either wool or no wool in your comment if you would like to win. Just make sure that if you cannot have wool, that you say no wool, and that way I won't include it in your package. Okay, what else? Oh, all right, what else was I gonna show you? Oh, here, I'm gonna put in where I did some rearranging. And this is how it looks now. I moved all of those kits over here. I have room for a couple more. Yes, there's a couple of spots. I've wiped all this down. There's a couple of spots where Mr. Fiber had erosives sitting on this thing, but I don't care. I think it looks just fine. I'm not worried about it. I still have my candle and my essential oils. Now I've got to clean the little fan up, but I've got it moved over here. This, I've had that for so long. That's why it's yellow. It still works, but it started to make some rattling noises, so I think I need to take it apart and clean it a little bit. So this is how my wall is looking now. This is my pegboard wall. And I had those kits were just kind of getting in the way. Now back there, those are felted kits. Felted and embroidery and stuff like that. And they're farther back behind my chair. So let me move this. See, this area right here is where the back of my chair swings. So it was wonderful to get those kits off of there. I tell you, I'm really happy with that, because that means now sitting in my chair when I'm doing my diamond painting is going to be less of a pain. I already had moved my table over, and I really don't want the table any farther over. I do have a big tote over there that has a project in it, and that's all that's in it. So I think I'm going to be able to take that project out, and I'll be able to put that tote with the other totes. I'll put a picture of the other totes. There's 4 of them in my pantry, and it's just outside of the she shed. If I walk out of the she shed, I walk into my pantry, and those totes are sitting right there. And I'll be able to put that tote with those unless I need it for something else. And I don't know at the moment. I don't know. I just do little areas at a time. All right. Here is the other blanket that I am doing. I can concentrate my efforts now on this blanket because this will be the only one I have going. The only blanket that I'm doing now is this one. It's all I have left. So this started, oh, you can see it really good there. This started with the box of Granny Square cards, the Granny Square card deck, the first card deck. I now have both decks. This is DK Weight is what I chose to use. I made those original squares as part of a make along with somebody else. And I have a whole slew of yarns in my basket that I made. Whole slew of the yarns in here. But I don't want to do the cards thing anymore. It's just not going to work out to reconstruct those, to make them, to put them on here. So I'm just going to go round and round it. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be going around and around this rectangle. And I'll probably switch back and forth between the solid and the granny. So like right now, see, I'm doing the solid with no shells. And I'm just going to do several rows of that, and then I'll switch back and do granny shells. And I don't know how big I will let it get. If I get bored with it and it gets big enough to be a nice size like baby blanket, because it's DK, it's all acrylic, it would be great for that. And I'll let you know how that goes. But that's the decision on that. That's the only blanket I have going, and I don't have, it's freeing my brain because I don't have these long-term projects sitting around. Okay. I have been putting some time in on this. I really love how this is coming out. This is going to be another great way to use up some yarns, possibly use some of the cakes that I've been wanting to use for a while because I have so many of the cakes. This is a Granny Square. It does have a slight lean to it. I just love how it looks. I'm doing it in a circle. It is these two, Mandala Ombre and Mandala Tweed stripes. Now, this was a bit of a challenge when I first started on, I think I got this on Amazon, this yarn holder. And when I'm not using it, it'll now go over there on that shelf. But when they were first touching, it was a bit of a challenge, but they're working great now. So I may wind up keeping that in mind, that when I put whatever I put on here, that they don't touch, that they're not cakes that touch, or just use one. And then as they get smaller, you know, switch around. I could switch around and use that other yarn holder. So yeah, this idea came to me one day, and I may tweak this a little bit. I may make a few more of these and tweak it and then put it out as like a simple free pattern for you guys, so you, and just give you my recipe for it. I like Ellen from Ellen's Crochet Corner. She or Ellen's Crochet, she really does the same thing. She uses things more of a recipe and then she tweaks them, and I'm very much like that. If you're watching Ellen, I think the same thing whenever you're showing your stuff. But one of the things I did was to put 2 stitches on either side so that there wouldn't be as much of a San Andreas fault, as Z says, Zelda NRJ3. But I'm still tweaking that. And the reason it leans is because when I come over and I come back around, I go to the last shell on the end to put the 3 shells. And that makes it lean over. But I chose to do it that way instead of putting it in the spaces. I want to try doing it that way too and see how that looks. Yeah. It's getting long enough to be a cowl like that, but I want it to be long enough to wrap around twice. So that's the goal. The goal is to finish up the yarn. And for that one, I'm using the H, my Clover H hook. That is all of my projects, all of the things I'm doing. I have 4 bags in the hallway that have started projects. I have a whole bunch of stuff in the hallway that is not started. Obviously, I've got some of that to do that I really want to prioritize. But I have my knitting capelet based on my Floozie sweater that I'm doing in a collaboration with Cheryl from Vixen Purple Crochet and More. Hi, Cheryl. And then I have a bag in there that has all those squares in, and that's going to be the next thing I put together to make. I'm going to make a wrap. You'll see. I'll show y'all next month when I finish it. And then the other 2 things I have are the Tunisian projects by Michael at MDL Crochet. So 4 projects in there. 1, that's 5. The blanket, that's 5. These that I'm doing for Mr. Fiber, that's 6. The Granny, Virus Meets Granny, that's 7. This one is 8. The washcloths I don't really count, but I have crochet washcloths and I have knit washcloths going. Less than 10. Yay me. Okay, the last thing I'm going to leave you with, our mascot is taking a nap. I want to thank you all for my subscriber blanket because he loves it. And I'm going to put a clip in here of Duke. And there's Duke-a-Duke. Hey, Duke. 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 Can you make a little movement somewhere? Duke. There. Can you give me your paw? Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. Okay, you go back to your nap. Love you. He's in there just snoozing away too. That's what we're doing to stay away from the heat. Okay, health-wise, I have to help myself. That's where I'm at. I have to help myself. The shot, it has completely worn off that I had in my hip. The only thing I can do now is really concentrate on moving. I'm going to try to find someone who can do a massage. I think that Mr. Fiber and I both would benefit from getting massages to get those muscles to not tighten up so badly. And the chiropractor, still doing that. Do the swimming, walk when I can, and then eat better. That is my plan. You saw I'm trying to keep track of how much water I drink. I'm trying to be careful about, I'm trying not to eat as much dairy because it causes inflammation. And the goal right now for me is to reduce inflammation and move more. Movement and less inflammation. And so I'm trying to eat less foods that cause the inflammation. I'm following someone, you can follow him right here on YouTube. It's Dr. Gundry. He's a heart surgeon, heart doctor. And then I also I have fibromyalgia. So I follow Tammy Stacklehouse. This is her book. You can get this on Amazon, Take Back Your Life, if you have fibromyalgia. And that's about what I'm doing. Dad's doing good. Everything went really great at the urologist the other day, so now we have to wait and see. He will see his primary coming up this next month. He turns 80 this next month in August 2025. If you're watching this back. Right now, everything's going pretty good. Pretty good. The only thing I'm fighting, really fighting, is myself and my brain and my emotions. And that's because the anniversary of my mama's death is on the 8th of August. But then we turn right around after that, and it's Mr. Fiber and I met on August the 13th. And then Dad's birthday is the 22nd, and then Chelsea's birthday is the end of the month. So it's a big month coming up next month. I don't know right now how much I will be able to do this. I'm going to try very hard, though, to give you a good catch-up of the month. And I think it'll be fun to do that. So don't forget to put no wool or no wool. And I will talk to you guys later. Have fun today. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves. All right? Nobody else is going to do it. And getting old ain't for sissies. Bye, y'all.